Laura, Don. Is Art here?
Art said he stopped by yesterday. He said he might not join us, and I took that to be a no.
Okay, so it's
But he
you.
might join us. And
Okay.
I thought Mark was going to join us. I didn't hear
Okay.
that he wouldn't.
So who
He
else
usually-
do we have? Just
Well,
the three of
Ron, if
you.
he,
Harvey.
Ron,
no, just Harvey.
Harvey. Okay,
So we can seat Harvey.
I'd say let's start, Penny, and I will make a motion to seat Harvey in favor of Art for tonight's meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I assume I can take over for Art. He always leaves me.
okay,
Good job.
you're acting chair, okay?
Yeah, I guess I am.
Okay, and so the meeting started 7:09?
Yeah.
Okay,
Review of the minutes. Does anybody have any
Nope.
comments about the minutes from the last meeting?
I appreciate Fran for dealing with all
oh,
the stuff that we do, and I would
thank you.
I would move that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
All in favor? Any other
Aye.
comment?
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
as submitted. I put down review of the updates to the POCD. I've read, it looks like there's a new draft, and I'd have to reread the whole thing in order to say anything, but I have to say that I think the committee's done a very good job. They've hit all the highlights that we had in our open space plan and our water report, and then gone much further than with suggesting streetscaping and resilience. There's a lot of climate resiliency suggestions. I don't know whether anybody else has any other comment they wanted to add.
I have a comment, not necessarily for the minutes, but this is the first time in my life that I got a personally handwritten card from someone, from Michelle Williams, thanking me for my participation. Which
Wow.
I thought was pretty nice, and I thought it was a very nice gesture, and like,
That's
I-
especially
I-
handwritten these days.
yeah, I did work a little bit on it, through the Nyack River Watershed Committee as well as our committee, and so I was happy to see that. So I think they, in all, they're doing a very good job, and it'd be nice to see it when it's finished.
Right, okay. Next, the other new business is the meeting schedule for 2021. If everybody's happy with the second Wednesday of the month, we'll just leave it as is. If it falls on
I did-
holidays,
I did check a 2021 calendar, and unlike tonight, we are not in conflict with any federal or state holidays.
Right.
okay.
What I can see. So, yes.
You want to make?
Yeah,
a
not too
motion?
much of other things fall on Wednesdays, so usually holidays are Mondays or,
Need a motion to accept
Yes.
the.
yeah.
I'll move.
Fran, can you add the actual dates to the minutes?
Sure. Okay,
That's what we've done before. We've gotten a sheet that has all, not that we can't figure it out for ourselves, but we'll
Okay.
stay with the second Wednesday of the month, 7 o'clock.
okay,
I assume we're going to be Zooming
yeah.
for,
For a while.
That's gonna be
No,
a
it's
while,
not.
folks.
yeah. And I suppose I could mention it again. What's the thought? Oh, here, the King of Denmark is being admitted.
Ah,
Okay.
And
I
who
think he
was,
told me who that was, for I'd never let him in.
ah, who was that? Ron?
It's
or-
Mark.
Oh, Mark,
Yeah,
okay.
Mark, you're yellow.
Could you tell me who seconded the motion for the
So-
meeting
so
schedule?
Laura proposed it. I'll second it, Frank.
Okay, thank you.
Are you with us, Mark, now?
I'm all here.
Okay. For some reason, you look yellow to me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
green to me.
Oh.
Green acres.
I look
Yellow
yellow.
to me too. I guess it's the yellow room and the backlighting here.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm not sick, at least
oh,
no.
okay, that's good. That's good.
So.
We just, the only thing that we've done so far, Art is not joining us. We are doing the meeting schedule for next year. We're just gonna leave it on second Wednesday at 7, if that
Yep.
works for people. And Art asked me for a show of enthusiasm for December meeting, because he wanted not to have one.
I don't think we have any pressing issues to my knowledge. Agriculture won't have a meeting in December. So we'll have nothing to report.
do you want to make a motion to that effect?
All right, if hearing no objections, then I'll make a motion that we cancel the December meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think I'll abstain because I don't care.
Ah. Well, you might
think
be
we could
the
always-
person doing it.
Yeah, yeah, actually, thank you for, although I'm getting the hang of this, so it's working. Okay, old business, anything new on the solar farm
Oh,
project?
yes. The council met on November the 5th. And as we knew from the straw poll that was taken at the previous meeting, they approved the Waterford project 3-1 with 2 abstentions and 1 recusal. We're still looking into the fact that less than half of the 7 members of the council approved this project, but evidently it might be within their rules and they're going forward. We thought we might have a chance to get involved with the Connecticut deep stormwater permit that's required, but that has gone through already. They've been issued a stormwater permit, so I would assume their construction will be beginning as soon as they can. So really, there's not much more to say about this project. We gave it a good fight. We didn't prevail, but we do believe, and I think it's been demonstrated in the materials, that we made a big difference as far as the design has gone, and we hope that it's going to be something that'll be more protective of the environment than the initial proposal. So probably won't have much more to say about this at all. We should probably take it off the agenda for any future meetings. It's a
Okay.
fait accompli now. They're gonna go ahead with it.
So they did require additional monitoring though, right?
No, they didn't.
So-
We've asked for that. We asked for that. Now, there's still a process called the D&M plan that the council has to approve. I don't know. I'm not, I haven't really talked to our attorney whether or not we can get involved in that process, but we could ask, we did ask for monitoring, but it did not come out in the final approval by the council. I will say it was kind of interesting when they took the vote. Someone made a motion to approve and no one seconded it for quite a long time. We knew one of the members, Michael Harder, was going to vote no. And we knew there was 2 abstentions and 1 recusal, which left 2 people left. The man running the meeting and someone who had replaced Robert Hannon, who was a Connecticut deep member. The Dykes member, Robert Hannon, was very, very strong in all his questions and stuff. He's apparently off the council now, and this woman replaced him. And we didn't know who she was. She finally seconded it, and she did vote yes. But we knew Hannah was going to vote yes anyway from the straw poll. So neither here nor there. Anyway, that's it. I'm not any more
Couple
time.
of quick questions, Don. Off the top of your head, do you know what the original clear-cut area was in terms of acres and then what it was reduced to? And then part two?
Yeah, this is off the top of my head, so I might have to correct this if it goes in notes. But I think it was 90 acres, but it's been was reduced to 75.
Okay, and then
They reduced the number of panels as well, which is good, and because they were able to obtain, it's going to produce about the same amount of power. They came up with, they found some panels that were able to produce more power, so they could, that's a plus.
yeah,
They did do a lot, and a lot better job in handling their stormwater design, but
and
still
part
think-
of that was a bigger distance from the stream, right? The original plan was close.
They did cut back their distance from Oil Mill Brook, not so much from Stony Brook, but again, they made substantive changes in their stormwater handling. We hope it works. We
Yep.
hope it won't impact Stony Brook. We hope it won't impact the Nyack River. And if you go to the Connecticut Deep website, you realize that the only coastal streams in Connecticut that have brook trout are east of the Connecticut River in Waterford, Groton, and Stonington. Nowhere else in Connecticut are there any coastal streams that contain native brook trout anymore in coastal areas. So it's pretty amazing, including entire counties. So
Wow.
anyway, that was our cause, and we tried, but green power won.
Yeah, well, you made it better than it would have been.
Yeah.
Okay, on a brighter note, the Sustainable Connecticut program. We're good to go for the Giving Garden. That's what we talked about last month. It's now up and will be going live for crowdfunding on the 15th of November. The website is IOBY, IOBY, which stands for In Our Backyard, as opposed to NIMBY.
I do like that, I won't lie.
Yeah, it's easy to remember. And the East Lyme Giving Garden is the campaign name. I don't know what it's going to look like when it comes up live, but it's a very user-friendly thing. You can donate by credit card right online, or just register your donation and send a check or cash separately. They highlight what they're doing on the website. There's pictures of Nancy with the plow and my daughter with her oxen, with Nancy's oxen. And a few other, nice banner. There's a big banner now, a big sign. There's an open house planned for the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Flyers to follow. I don't know, Mark, if you know more about it than I do.
Right, it's on the, it's on the 28th of November for Church Lane, East Lyme, which is the
Right behind the Baptist Church.
church parking lot, basically. And then behind the parking lot is where the Giving Garden is. There's a sign there, as you described. So I believe it's going to be 13 teams of oxen. That's what we,
Wow, 13?
I believe it, that's the number.
Where are they getting 13 teams of
All over
oxen?
Two teams
all
of
over the
oxen.
place.
Wow.
And
Trucking them
it's
in.
even going to be a mule team there, I believe. That's sort of in flux depending on the weather and COVID and that type of thing, but that's what's planned right now. And they'll be basically giving demonstrations on how land was plowed. It's very nice land compared to what we're used to farming. That was the fertile valley of East Lyme, ran all down through Costco and where the gas stations are and the cemetery and Stop and Shop. And there's rocks there, but really nothing too bad. So it's pretty decent land to plow. We're plowing in leaves and compost and chicken manure.
Yeah, Tom was telling me that it's only been fallow for, what, 3 or 4 years? The Scots grew pumpkins there.
Yeah, they had pumpkins and squash, I believe. I didn't know it was fallow for 3 years. I thought it was only maybe a year or two, but
Well, yeah, it might have been less than that. you know,
yeah,
Very recently.
it has been fallow, and so it's not unmanageable. There's no trees and brush growing in it. So it's all been mowed down and plowed over, and we're going to plow it in again, plow in the leaves for get some earthworms in there. That's what's needed. And microbial action.
So that's the good news. The funding program is maxes out at $7,500, and they'll match that, so you get 15,000 total. It goes from the 15th of November through the 15th of January.
Yep.
Then after that, we'll start another campaign for the pollinator pathway, which is intended to go in the acreage behind the farm. And that doesn't require that much capital investment. So I think they would like a couple $1,000s for that, just to get seeds and a little bit of prep. So that will go probably another it seems like the sustainable people would like these things to go for 2 or 3 months and in and out kind of thing.
Yep.
Um,
To that end, I have a letter I can read, unless you'd rather have me read it at the agriculture section. It's about the Giving Garden.
you can read it now if you'd like.
All right. So this is the letter from the Giving Garden. It says, the Giving Garden would like to share our gratitude with the work done on our behalf to establish Sustainable Connecticut grant opportunity for our garden. As the chair of the East Lyme Sustainable Connecticut Subcommittee of Conservation Commission, you've been working hard to help the town flourish. This letter is to you, Penny and Laura. Your coordination between Sustainable Connecticut and East Lyme Giving Garden have been invaluable. We anticipate that Sustainable Connecticut fundraising opportunity, which is set to run for our garden from November 2020 to January 2021, will be an important source of funds to help establish a financial foundation for our garden. With one season under our belts and expansion plans in motion for 2021, our garden is looking forward to growing and donating food to help alleviate hunger in our community. Thank you for your contribution towards making that goal a reality. We appreciate the work you've already done on our behalf and look forward to making our own contribution to the town in the coming seasons. Sincerely, John Holtz, President, Tom Kalal, Vice President, Lindsay Rush, Secretary, and Bruce Cohen, Treasurer of the Giving Garden.
Thank you.
Yay!
Yay. I'm glad after all
That's a
of this,
penny. Go Penny.
after all of this work, I told Tom, and I'll tell you, Mark, after all of this work, and Harvey knows too, I'm glad to finally see something that has come of it. So
Yeah.
we'll get
Now
these.
now you just have to get the money going, right?
Yeah,
So-
that's true.
Is that gonna get posted on the town website?
No, they do their own. It's a crowdfunding thing that's hosted by a company that's called Patronicity, which I think is a telling name. And they basically supply help and nurturement for small projects that that are crowdfunded. So it's separate of the town. And Sustainable Connecticut hired them to host their crowdfunding operations. So,
So all of the grants are gonna be crowdfunded.
yeah,
They're all
they
50.
always were. And what, you have to crowdfund it. Of course, obviously, if somebody shows up with a check, you just make sure that becomes part of the crowdfunding.
Right,
So if you've got a donor in your back pocket, you just make sure and then Sustainable matches 1-to-1. So any donor that wants to give anything, you just need to record it. And there's an auditing procedure that's going to have to be done when the campaign is over, where they'll check who's who and what's what and who gave what. So as long as it's all recorded, so it's crowdfunded, but the crowd can come in, come in from anywhere. If you have other monies, you just have to get them registered as part of the crowd.
very
It
good.
took me a while to figure out how this whole thing is done, because obviously I've been writing grants for the state and it's done entirely different, for sure. But I have to say the Sustainable Connecticut people have been very, very helpful. And we have a campaign coach that if we ever have any questions or anything comes up, all I have to do is call her and she's there to help us.
Well, I know
Okay,
it's most appreciated. So thank you for your effort.
thank you. Yeah, well, thank you for seeing this through. By the way, all the produce from the garden will go to the
St.
Shoreline
John's,
Meal Center.
yeah, it's the Shoreline Food Pantry out of St. John's Church in Main Street, Niantic.
Right. And they'd love to have an educational component. So since it's close to the high school, if the high school kids are ever, or actually for that matter, the Flanders elementary
there's Flanders
school
too.
kids can, if they ever get let out, they can do what, because the oxen were always very popular with the 5th graders when they used to go to the middle school.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if we ever allowed to do anything, we will,
Yeah, and by the way, Lauren Harvey, I am still trying to do the bikeway thing. It's in the POCD. I was glad to see that. I'm going to highlight that paragraph about complete streets. And I've got no response from Mike, and he was the only one that even gave me a glimmer of hope. I'm assuming it's because of the COVID stuff. I don't know. When you don't hear from somebody, you don't know why. I suppose I can be a little more pushy and just show up at his office if he's there. I'm not sure he's even there. So that in my mind would be the next project after the pollinator pathway. But if you guys come up with anything else, since I'm not sure the bikeway is ever going to see the light of day, do let me know.
I do
And
like the complete streets though. I gotta be honest.
oh yeah, your pedestrian thing. And there are a lot of references to completing sidewalks and stuff. And if you have your pedestrian survey, that always helps.
So I can't do anything with the kids yet. I
Yeah.
mean, I can, well, I'll tell you later, but
Yeah.
I can't get them outside and do anything too much with
Right.
them.
Well, if you can
Never
work
mind.
with Ming on his thing in prep, and besides, I think probably the way things are going, we'd be looking at something in the spring or next summer.
Yeah,
So,
I can't right now only because I'm working too many hours right now
Yeah.
just to stay alive. So, but yeah, once we get to some other semblance.
yeah, well, just and Harvey, if you come up with any ideas, because, the ideas have to fester for a while before they go anywhere.
But Ming and I aren't that far off. We had already started working on it.
Yeah.
So it's just getting back to it. But
Okay. Don, do you want to talk about the RBV sample?
Sure. Yeah, we successfully sampled on October 23rd and 24th. Though we luckily had some rain that got the stream flows up to make it worthwhile to go out and do the sampling. I want to thank Penny and her husband Ray and Steve Loomis, retired from Connecticut College, part of our 4-person team that did the work this year. We did the same 4 stations we did last couple of years. We did, thanks also to Tom Kalau, Nancy Kalau, to let us access Cranberry Meadow Brook through their property. And we did that one, and we did our standard 2 stay stations at Latimer Brook, one behind the IJ Plaza and one at just upstream of the Colony Road Bridge. And then we also did 4 Mile River, which is Green, was it Green?
Springbrook
Springbrook.
Road.
Springbrook Road Bridge, just downstream of that bridge. I thought we did fairly well considering that it was a pretty harsh drought we had this year. Behind Latimer Brook, we this is based on our field identification, so this is subject to change once Connecticut Deep does the real fine identifications of the material we supplied them. We put the insects, etc., and alcohol, and they look at them. We had 3 most wanted species or most wanted forms at Latimer Brook, and 6 moderate behind IGA, and 3. So again, 3 most wanted, 6 moderately wanted. At Colony Road, we only had 1 most wanted, but we had 7 moderately wanted. Cranberry Meadow Brook, we had 1 to 2 most wanted, depending upon our IDs are a little tough because of small specimens. 4 moderately wanted. And at 4 Mile River, we had 1 to 2 moderately wanted and 4 most wanted and 4 moderately wanted. So I thought we did reasonably well. The streams will show reasonably good water quality again, based on the types of insects we caught. We were talking about before the meeting started, preparing for the sampling, I went back to look at the Connecticut Deep report on our 2019 results to see where we might have had any issues in identifications, et cetera, which I did find on one form that we missed. But I looked at the Cranberry Meadow Brook results, and it showed 0 most wanted, and I knew we got a stonefly. So I found out there was another Cranberry Meadow in Connecticut. It's in East Haddam. And it looks like this Deep might have switched the results between our station and East Haddam guys in their report. So I asked Megan Lally, who runs the program for the Connecticut Deep, to take a look at that. I haven't gotten an answer back. She said she would look at it. So I think they may have made a mistake and when they compiled the report. So our Cranberry Meadow Brook doesn't look as good as it should, but we'll see if they correct it or not. So that's all I have to say.
By the way, the scale there is if you get 4 most wanted, you're in stellar land.
Right.
So the fact that
And
we
we've
got
had that
23
we've had that in the past, but
Yeah.
I think the drought tends to reduce the number of and types of
the
insects.
most sensitive.
Tough.
If you wouldn't mind sharing that data with me, because I ended up having to do a fake lab with my kids where I actually cut up pictures of the bugs and gave them like pretend samples and had them like just kind of do a mock one. But I would love to give them the actual data you guys came up with just to
So I
see.
give you want our field sheets?
Oh, that would
Copies
be,
of our field sheets?
yeah, it would be great.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
Oh, that'd be fabulous. Because I can't take them, so I at least did this like mock version and showed them what it would have looked like kind of deal. But it'd be cool to actually show them your data. Thanks.
The next one I had was discussion of the forest report, because I thought that Art wanted that discussed, but does anybody want to talk about the forestry report?
I will tell you that I'm having my kids do a project on it.
Oh, okay.
So, because the carbon sequestration, but it ties in with a bunch of other stuff, but I figured Art would love that. So I needed something, and so we're using it they're doing slide presentations and videos of the different sections as if they were reporting to the governor's council.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, make sure that if you want to tie it into anything local, there's one thing in there that says that sensitive trees should be highlighted and protected. And that's what I mentioned last time. The pitch pine project, pitch pine park, at Oswegatchie Hills. If you have reason to drive over there, first of all, the town did a nice job fixing up the roads, and it's actually green and there's grass there. It's a little tiny park. But if you drive in as if you're going to the Vets Memorial Ball Field, there's now Decker has done such a great job, and Don and I helped out last weekend and planted 6 pitch pines so that we'll have adult pitch pines in that park. And they're kind of cute. They look like little Charlie Brown Christmas trees. In fact, I'm thinking of putting one little red ball on each one because they go, and they're all kind of bent over. So we might decorate for Christmas. But it's coming along. We have a nice planting bed for the seedlings when we get around to starting that. There's Greg made beautiful benches or works of art, and he's going to get some pitch pine bonsai and put them out too. I told him he'd better chain them down because somebody's going to steal them. So anyway, we have, the town is doing, check the box for protecting the pitch pine. We have a pitch pine project. When the seedlings get to some decent size, they'll be planted up into the hills to support the stand that's in the hills.
You might mention that he has someone that's mapping pitch pines in the hills.
Oh, yes. And I should remember his name, Matt.
I'd have to go back to my emails.
I don't know his last name, I'm sorry. But he was working in a park in upstate New York, someplace in New York, and was with the coronavirus situation, he was laid off. And he lives in East Lyme. I think he's moved back with his parents. And he's anxious to stay busy and keep stuff on his resume. So he's mapping a GIS map of where the pitch pines are in the reserve. Someone mentioned that he should maybe map the trees that are in the park that that's under litigation. We'd like to buy, but that would be trespassing. Fran, don't put that part in.
Maybe you can do it
But
with a
anyway, we'll
drone.
have a complete map, and his thought, and I don't know whether he can hang in there, is to map it over time to see how the tree stands change. But that is dependent on somebody else, maybe some very talented high school students who are very good at GIS and can follow up doing, or maybe college kids, because there's a lot of botany folks over there.
His name is, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Smetana. Smetana? I don't know.
Smetana.
Smetana. So, and he did a very nice job mapping pitch pines using GIS and other remote
Yeah.
sensing kind of
He's
stuff.
going to provide a lot of baseline information, which is quite nice when you're trying to do a restoration. Okay. The last part is reports and communications. Anybody got any? You already read the letter.
Right.
Mark, and the
So for agriculture, we submitted our final revised comments to the POCD, and I believe they were accepted and should be written into the new POCD. Other than that, we hope to pursue a grant, agricultural viability grant, next year. And what we're thinking about is something called cost of community services, which we talk about a lot, what residential housing pays in taxes versus commercial land versus open space and farms. So when you can get a hard number on it, the town planners can make more sense out of the impact of a subdivision or the impact of a farm or whatever. So that's kind of out there in the future, and I don't even know if they'll have it next year, but we're going to try. That's about it, I guess. Oh, and the Giving Garden, of course, is moving along.
Yeah.
We're gathering more
Can
volunteers.
could we actually go for sustainable CT money to go along with that? If you're looking at a balance between, because that's sustainable in terms of looking at the cost of not only but services. So it's almost like the cost of natural services you have to replace when you actually put asphalt down.
Right.
I think probably Sustainable CT would pay for whatever the town would want to do based on that data. But gathering that data, I think is not going to meet their.
But we could use that data to then fund something, a project.
They want community involvement. I don't know, you could always ask. That's possible. My thought is that they would be much more gung ho about something that was based on that information, especially if the town, as Mark, as you say, if the town is using that information to guide it in some way, which would be nice, because I know Colchester did that, and we've been
That's right.
using. their
That's,
information.
yeah.
Yeah, that's where we got the idea.
That's always the thought, and the thing is, as I say, the one thing that's nice about the sustainable folks is you can ask any question you want. And so that could be.
Yeah, run it by them, see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, chairman's not here and Roseanne's not here, so we have no report. And if we're gonna take Christmas off, my only thought is, what's the deadline for the last comments to the POCD? Isn't that like December or something, or now?
They just had a hearing on the 10th, and I think they were trying to wind it up. So I think it might be, well, I don't know. Send in
Yeah.
what comments there are. If you think you have something, send it in ASAP.
No,
Yeah,
I don't.
I think they're done.
Yeah,
pretty much. You
my
better-
only suggestion would be for all of us to read it over. And maybe in January, see if there's things in there that, are useful, can direct us which way we want to go and that sort of thing. Because there's an awful lot in there. It's quite a read. You have to sit down with 2 cups of coffee to get through it. Although it's a
Yeah.
lot of pictures, so it's not that bad.
Picture book.
Yeah, right.
I got a silly question. Did our water report ever get up on the town website? Like, do we have the digital up there?
I don't know. I can see. It should have, that's all I can tell you.
No, that's why I'm asking if it ever.
Yeah, Gary, I think Art asked Gary to do it, but that other guy, Mark, was it Mike, somebody that?
Mike Mintz,
Mike, what's his, Mike Mintz? Is it?
MEINZ, Mike Mintz. So
If it's
something on
not there, I have no problem asking Mike to do that, because he did
Yeah.
a great job the last time.
yeah, he makes it happen. That's his job. So
Oh,
um,
okay.
one thing that just came to mind, you're talking about that fella who wanted to do something. We have a section on on the town website under conservation that's called The Nature of East Lyme. And one man, Sherwood Lincoln, took some nice pictures of a lot of the birds that you may not often see, but do come through East Lyme. They might only be here for a day or a week or a month, but there's some really nice pictures that he took. All those birds were spotted in East Lyme. All those pictures that he took were from East Lyme. Maybe there's something else that we could do about, I don't know, big trees in East Lyme, unusual trees, something like that.
Yeah, one of the suggestions that's in the forest report to sort of gin up interest in climate mitigation is, and they've had this sort of catch-all statement that says, get your community to acknowledge that trees are the easiest, best way to sequester carbon. And I thought, well, maybe we could have a thing of finding the biggest tree in town or something, something along those lines. I'm not good at this sort of thing, so. Maybe when your kids are done with some of the stuff, Laura, we can see what
Yeah,
they
that's a good
they
idea.
are enthusiastic about, what would get there. Because if you can interest a teenager, you can interest
Well,
anybody.
that's actually one of the points of the report is the youth programs.
Yeah. So,
So we'll see what brilliance they come up with.
yeah,
Mark, where were those pictures posted?
If you go on the on the website, town website,
Yep.
it says Conservation Commission, and it says the nature of East Lyme.
Okay, thank you.
Click on that. I'm pretty sure that's where it is.
Thank you very much.
But we need to add more stuff, like, the stuff that Don did, and Penny with the study in the water, that would be maybe just a
the
few,
RBV stuff.
put some
Yeah, we
pictures.
never do write it up for the town because it's not what it used to be.
Right.
Now it kind of just gets dumped into a bigger data set.
Maybe Laura has some old pictures from a few years.
Oh, God, yeah, when we used to do it all the time.
Oh, when the
Yeah.
kids did it, yeah.
So I don't know, those are some ideas.
Yeah, I should go on the website and see what's there and see what we can add to it. That can be something we can do in the dead of winter.
Yeah.
That'll be on the January, since we're taking
When we're
Christmas.
all on lockdown again.
Yeah. Well, let's be optimistic. We're looking forward to January 20th, aren't we? Okay, on that rosy note,
I move that we adjourn.
yeah, okay, motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Don made the motion, I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna end it all. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.
Guys, there you go. See ya. Have a great
good
holiday.
Thanksgiving, too.
Good holidays.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Oh.
Good night.